distinguished officers, for keeping you waiting. This is close to 25 minutes. Delayed start. We're sorry about that. We're only hoping that we have better turnout so that we can start with quite a number of persons here. But while we wait for them to turn up, today being a work day and some of them hooked up at work, running shifts and all of that. But it's going to be streamed live. So we're hoping they'll be able to join too. People that are not here in person will be able to join virtually and follow up with the conversation. It's going to be on our YouTube channel and all of that will be done. So I want to welcome you to the Apostolic Church Manchester here in Oldham. And I want to really appreciate you for coming out of your very busy schedule. The police are always busy, always busy. You have more than enough on your hands to attend to at every given point in time. But we do really want to appreciate you for coming today for this police surgery event. So we just get started right away and we'll see how far we can go within the limited time that we have. So we'll take a welcome address from, I'll call him our CEO here. He's the one in charge, the head of our organization. The Apostolic Church Manchester is a charity organization registered, and they reach out to our community. It's a religious organization, faith-based organization. So we hold services and meetings in here every Sunday and some other times. So the head of the organization is right here, and I would like him to formally welcome you to this event. So please do appreciate with me as I bring up Pastor Peter Adejumo for his opening address. You're welcome, sir.
I want to start by appreciating the presence of the police officer in this hall of worship in this community. And again, I want to apologize for the low turnout of this event, as it is important for us. Like I said to one of the officer that maybe because today is a work day, of which it's not an excuse, because if everyone have the opportunity to be here, we will get opportunity as well to get more closer to the police, to get to know the advantage we will have to get connected with them, the opportunity to collaborate with the service of the police officers within the community. I just want to apologize for that. And I want to believe that if we still have the opportunity to have this surgery in the earliest time, more awareness will be out there, and I promise that we'll have a large number of the congregation more than this. You are very, very welcome. Thank you so much for coming. And can I just take this opportunity to explain the purpose as it's been explained to us earlier, the reason why we have the police officer here. They are the representative of the government within the community. Police are not, they are not that far to our memory, even if we don't have the opportunity to get closer to them, but we see them on the TV and meet them on the street. But getting to know or appreciate their presence or the importance of them within the community is one of the reasons why they are here. I'm not going to tell in details, but we will get to know when they talk to us the advantage or what we intend to enjoy from them by having them all around us when they come up to speak. I believe this gathering will give us much more than our expectation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I, with that, I don't know, if I should ask our boss here, what's your name, sir? No.
Okay. Oh, you're checking. Oh, okay.
Please, if you need to use the convenience, if you need to use the toilet, we've got toilets just right at the corner there. We've got some sandwich, coffee, tea, juice, just right there at the room there. And these are exits. You know, I should have said that at the beginning of the event for everybody to know. Thank you very much. We like to meet everyone. We like to know you by name. I could bump into you in city center and say, "Hey, my friend." So I like to know you by name.
Oh, okay. Okay. Firstly, I'd like to thank the community for our invitation here. It's always really important, I find, to try and branch out into the community, speak to different people, speak to different communities, and gain links into those communities as a local police. Obviously, I've never been here before, and I want to thank, obviously, Sunday for sort of fostering those links and putting on this event. Obviously, I know you mentioned about turnout and that kind of thing. That's not really important to me. It's not really a key issue. The key issue is us being here. And if just one person was here, two people, it doesn't matter, because our message then will get out through the community. And this is also the first one. We have surgeries and these kind of events throughout the local area. And sometimes the first one is just the getting to know you phase. So you know who we are, you know our faces, and you know who to speak to. Going forward, then next time, that's the introductions are done, and then we can go into a bit more detail. So for me, the main point of it is for us to be here, for us to talk to you, for us to gain these links, and then going forward, we can sort of build on that relationship, make it stronger, make it better. So thankfully, firstly, thanks for the invitation. Obviously, I've got my whole team here, so I probably want to introduce them as well, so you know that the local team, who the local team are. I'll start with myself. So I'm Sergeant Nana Pabby. I'm the sergeant for Coppice, Barnsley, the Fitton Hill area. I've been doing this job for about sort of 4 years or so. I've got 16 years in the police and about 7 years as a sergeant. I've worked in Oldham, Tameside, Stockport, and I've worked on response and neighbourhood throughout my career. Obviously, at the moment, a neighbourhood sergeant covering this area, and like I say, I really enjoy it. It's really fulfilling, and it's fulfilling doing this kind of thing, meeting people in the community, coming to community events, and forging those links. So I'll introduce my team, so you know obviously who the local officers are. So I'll let them introduce themselves rather than me do it for them. So I'll just briefly come up and say a word about yourself. Come on, Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Only
Let me
briefly.
also ask for your permission to take pictures for this event.
Not for you, not for. Okay.
All right.
Hi, everyone. We thank you all for the invitation. We are very happy to be here. I'm PCSO Sunday Agomo. So I'm the PCSO in this area, Medlock Vale, Coppice, Barnsley, and Fitton Hill. And I've been doing this job for 5 years.
Hi, I'm Steve, PCSO for this area, same as Sunday. Doing this job for about 20 years. So. Thank you. But it is a pleasure to work around here.
I'm Jess. I've recently started on neighbourhoods. I'll be in the area till about end of August, so you might see me around.
Hello. Bit loud. I'm Mark. I've been with GMP for 8 years. Worked in this neighbourhood for the last 12 months. Really enjoy it. Thank you to the church, the community, for inviting us down today. It's been a pleasure. You see me out and about? Come say hello. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least. Hi, I'm Erin. I'm the neighbourhood officer for Failsworth East. This is my team, so this is why I'm here as well. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so that's the local team. I think it's really important that you get to meet the team as well, and that's the importance of these events. As a sergeant, I can come, I can speak, I can tell you what's going on, but a lot of time I'm not out and about. My team are they're out and about on the streets, talking to people, interacting with people, far more than I am. So it's really important that you know the faces, you know who they are, and you know who to approach when needed. So I thought when I was coming down here, I was thinking what's best to speak about. And sometimes it's important just to let people know what we actually do. There's understanding sometimes of what policing is. That's through the media, through the papers, on the internet. And sometimes it's not accurate in terms of what we actually do and what our job is. So from a neighbourhood stance on policing, what our aim is to build up links in the community. It's to solve problems that are going on in the community, be they big or small. And sometimes they are small problems. People have small issues. It could be something as simple as cars being parked in the wrong area, people blocking people's drives. Small issues. But those small issues can cause somebody a lot of problems. For example, if someone is parking across your drive every single day and you can't get to work, or you can't take your sick relative to a hospital appointment because your neighbour's parking across your drive, little things like that can actually become big issues. It can become big problems for people. And that's where we can step in. And we can try and mediate, we can talk to people, we can try and solve the issues. So I think sometimes people don't realise the sort of scope and breadth of what we can deal with. So it can be from the smallest thing to ASB issues. So I know in the area we have a lot of ASB issues with kids causing problems, and there can be a thought pattern from people that the police aren't doing anything about these issues. But a lot of time we're working behind the scenes. We work with housing, we work with community safety teams, we work with the people themselves, and we work with the kids to try and solve the problems. So what I would always encourage is, if people are having any problems, any ASB issues, any concerns, any worries, to make contact with us. Give us a call on 101, email us. We'll leave our email details here so that people can contact us directly. Especially with local issues problems that seem smaller. Sometimes people don't want to call the police. They feel like, oh, there's some kids who are hanging about on the street and not doing anything wrong, but I feel a bit intimidated. And well, it's not quite a police issue. Well, that's the kind of thing that, as a neighbourhood team, we'd like to hear about. We'd like to come down there. We'd like to speak to those kids. We can find out who they are, find out why they're hanging around on the street. And we have programmes in place as well. We have links with the local youth club. We have links with different people. And we can get them doing something else, get them off the streets, get them doing something productive. So it's always really important that whenever someone's feeling sort of maybe intimidated or just a bit worried, that local police is what we're there for. That's the main thrust of our job, to try and make the community that we police safer, better, just for the whole community. And that can be done in sort of obviously many different ways. Obviously at the moment around here we do have some issues with things like off-road bikes. I'm not sure if any of you guys are aware of that, but loads of kids on off-road bikes, riding on pavements, riding on roads, and that kind of thing, causing issues, causing intimidation to people. And once again, all I can say is around anything that happens, it's always really important to make us aware and report it. And in this kind of environment, obviously, when people come to the church and they speak to yourself about any issues, because now we've got these links, it's the kind of thing that you can pass on to us. So I understand very clearly that some people don't want to speak to the police directly, and that's fair enough. We don't want to force people or people to do anything they feel uncomfortable with, but by sort of forging these links within the church, then if people come to the church and they feel comfortable speaking to yourself, to the pastor, to anybody within the church, that information then can be passed on to us, and then we can deal with that. So, like I say, it's not always necessity to you to speak to the police. This is why we try and build up community links, and we try and build up partners within the community who then can speak to us and let us know what's going on. I know we've got some flyers and stuff here as well, and all this is bits and bobs that we like to bring to these events. It's the little things like this. These are property marking kit. So if you have bits of property, TVs, phones, whatever, you can mark it with your phone number, mark it postcode, and then if it's stolen or we come across it, we can get a UV light and we can see who it belongs to, where it's been stolen from. So we've got 3 pens, not many, so sort of share them out. But yeah, so we've got some pens there. We also, I don't know if you've been aware of this, but it's a thing called Be in the Loop, which is really important at the moment in GMP. It's basically with an email system that people sign up for, and they're given email alerts of local issues that are ongoing at the time. So I know sometimes people drive past something and they see loads of police and they see loads of ambulances or whatever, and they wonder what's going on. What's that about? With Be in the Loop, people will get email alerts about what's going on in the community, what's happening. So instead of worrying what's going on down the street, you get an email alert saying this has happened. So it puts people's mind at rest sometimes. And all we need is an email address, a name, and we can sign people up for that. And then they'll get email alerts about any issues within the local community, any concerns, also any events that we're putting on. So if the police are doing events in the area, then we can let local people know what those events are, and they can turn up and they can come and we can interact. So it's a really, really important tool, and obviously we'll try and get as many people signed up for that as possible. And also going forward with the church and stuff, getting as many people to sign up for it as possible, so it helps them feel that they're connected to the police as well. It helps them feel that know what's going on in the area. So that's really important at the moment. That's really something that the police are trying to push. Obviously, we have all other stuff as well about crime prevention. I know we all have elderly relatives. We all have people who are vulnerable within the community. And it's really important that they understand how to keep themselves safe, because there are people around here who will try and take advantage of old people, of vulnerable people. So there's loads of flyers about being safe in terms of people coming to the door, cold callers, phone calls, that kind of thing. So we have all these kind of flyers. So keep as many as you want, and we can always bring more down as well. So we have boxes full of them, like massive boxes full of flyers about sort of crime prevention. So we'll leave these here. We'll make sure we bring more. I know, is it a Sunday service you have here? Is it Sunday service? So yeah, we'll have them as many as you need. I don't know. Obviously, we do work weekends and stuff, so I don't know the thought about having a surgery on the Sunday or potentially afterwards. That'd be good. Yeah, because we work an early shift. We work a shift on the Sunday, a 10-8 shift. So we can always, the next surgery, if that's would be more beneficial to you on a Sunday afterwards, we can always come down, do that, and obviously have a chat with more people. But yeah, so I think from my point of view, I think I was speaking earlier, I think it's really important that we do, as a police force, ensure that we speak to every single community that we can, that we make sure that we're interacting with people, and that we're making sure that people understand that despite what may be seen in the media, that we are here to help people all the time. We are here to assist. We are here to keep people safe. And from like a personal point of view, I know that obviously I work with the positive action team as well within the police. So I do a lot of events with the positive action team, trying to ensure that we can recruit from different communities, underrepresented communities within GMP, and having links with churches and different communities can help that happen. I think it's really important, and I think it's something that really helps the police, ensuring that the police look like the people we're policing. And it's important that people understand that the police is open to anybody, no matter your background. The police is open to anybody, and understanding how you can apply to the police. If it's something you want to do, it's something people want to do and have no idea, then once again, building these links, forging these links is really important. And I do recruitment interviews, and I've got knowledge of that world, so I'm always happy to help anybody who's got any questions, who's interested in joining the police within the congregation. You can pass them my email, pass them my number. I'll talk to them, I'll speak to them, I'll let them know like how I got in, which is a long time ago now, so probably different from when I first joined, but I can give them hints and advice about the process and point them in the right direction. So yeah, I think for myself, that will be sort of all I've got to say at the moment. I don't know if anyone's got any questions, anything they want to ask me. Then I'm more than willing to open up the room and answer any questions that anybody's got. Oh, hello.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. My question is, do this kind of surgery happens like often? Because on social media, what they portray about police is actually the negative side. So it's actually making people to think police is a no gray area. So people get scared anytime they hear police, anything police, they get scared. Like, so I'm just wondering if this kind of thing happen often. I don't think people will be portraying police as a very bad. Because I'm sure some people might hear about it, they'll be like, police. So because what they have in mind is police, no. So sometimes you even have them gather together to listen to police can be a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So can this kind of thing happen often and let people online see that it's not actually about the bad parts alone. They can actually be the good side where we can benefit from it.
Yeah. Well, in terms of our local area, we have surgeries quite regularly. So we have them around maybe once every 6 weeks in different areas. So like I said before, we cover Bardley, Coppice, Fitton Hill. So we have a surgery at Fitton Hill Library. We have surgeries in Coppice. We have surgeries in Bardley in different areas. Sometimes we have them in the evening, 4 till 6. Sometimes we have them in the morning. It depends on where we are and who we want to speak to. But yeah, it's a regular thing that we have, and not just for our area, but for across Greater Manchester Police. And obviously, I want to highlight the sort of negative portrayal of the police, and it is what gets highlighted in the media, what gets highlighted on TV are the negative aspects. So you never see a police story, a news story about police officers coming into a local church and having a chat with people. It's not news, is it? It's not news. So what you do see is the negative aspects of policing, and they are there. Yeah, there are negative people do bad things. Ultimately, the police are people. All we are is people, members of the public, and members of the public do bad things, and sometimes police do bad things, and that's the nature of being a human being. But overall, the police do massive amounts of good. So you may see a news story of a police officer doing something terrible, but that's 0.1% of the police. That's a tiny, tiny minority, a minority that we reject. But on a day-to-day basis, we do a lot of good. We go into community, we try and forge links, we try and help people, we arrest bad people, we take bad people off the streets, we we protect young, vulnerable people. We protect people. That's what policing is about. And for myself, that's the reason I got into policing, to try and protect people, to try and help people. And I know as well, and it's obviously from different community, especially from the black community, there is a definite perception of the police as being sort of racist and negative. And those kind of perceptions are there, and there's no point in trying to hide and shy away from that. But somebody who's been a police officer for 16 years, a black police officer for 16 years, I can say that those perceptions are completely wrong. Once again, there are always going to be bad people. There are always going to be bad people anywhere. But the overall view of the police is not how it's portrayed in the media. Like I say, I've never faced any kind of racism. I've been supporting everything I do in the police. And I think that's a message that I try and put out to different communities, that actually what you see on the news, yes, there are negativities with people, but overall, as with anybody, most people are good, most people are nice, most people are supportive. And I think that's the sort of message that I sort of try and get across when I'm speaking to communities or whatever background, that, yeah, I'm somebody who, if there was that kind of, if the policing was like that, then after 16 years and various different jobs, I'd know about it. And it's not like that. It's a really welcoming place, a great job, great career, and a lot of nice people.
My name is Sam. I have 3 questions.
Go on, Sam. Go on.
I don't know, should I state all my questions or ask them one after the other? Okay, I'll state all of them. So you mentioned about ASP issues. I want you to shed more light on that, because I don't understand what ASP issues mean. Secondly, you mentioned about emailing the police, but I, for one, I've emailed the police on certain issues and I haven't gotten a response. So I think maybe you can address that. Emailing, I don't think it works. And we are privileged to have you around, but a lot of people might have issues and they don't know who to contact. They've just gotten the email online and they are emailing without any response. And my third question is about applying to the police. So one thing I want to mention is that in this our community here, so many of us don't have like a permanent residency. I don't know if that in any way affects applying to the police, even if you've not got a permanent residency. If you can elaborate on that also. Thank you.
Okay, so first question, ASB. That is antisocial behaviour, simply. So it's anything that, it can be anything from littering in the streets, it can be kids on street corners smoking weed, it can be people causing damage, it can be anything like that, anything that's antisocial, anything that causes sort of harm and can cause harm in the community. So when I say ASB, yeah, antisocial behaviour, and it's like I say, it's a big issue, and sometimes, especially with antisocial behaviour, sometimes the people who are doing it don't realise they're doing it. So we have an issue at the moment where there's like 60 kids who go to an area all the time, and they're just teenagers and have got nothing else to do, and they hang around near these shops. But all the people who work in the shops and the people who want to go in the shops, it's really intimidating. You've got 60 kids all outside, and that's antisocial behaviour. And we have to work with the community, we have to work with those kids, for one, to make them see it's antisocial, and two, to try and rectify it. So, yeah, it's a whole host of different sort of issues that we deal with around antisocial behaviour. Second question about emailing the police. What I would say is, obviously, it depends on what you want to speak about. So, if you've got like I say, we know 999. If you've got a serious problem, you need to get contact with the police straight away. 999, standard. Less serious issue, we have 101, which is a non-emergency number. So if it's something that doesn't need immediate police action, but you want to speak to the police about something, you It could be something like simple as you have had your phone stolen. You've come home, you found your phone's not in your pocket, and it's been stolen when you've been out. And that'll be maybe a 101 call. It's not immediate. You don't need the police there now, but you want to speak to a police officer. What I'll say about emailing, we have an online portal now on GMP where you can send through any problems you've got through an online portal. So that's one way of contacting us, through sort of the email. It just, in terms of email, it depends what people are asking. That is the bottom line. It depends what people are wanting to know. So you can email the neighbourhood teams. We have a neighbourhood inbox that we have that people can email in relation to some low-level stuff or intelligence. For example, say you know somebody's maybe growing cannabis in a house near you, and you send an email to the police saying, "Look, this is happening." You wouldn't necessarily hear a reply from that. That'll come to us, and we'd have to build up a picture of intelligence around that before we could do anything. So we do get a lot of information from people saying Joe Blogs from down the street is doing A, B, and C, but we can't necessarily act upon that. We need to either see Joe Blogs doing A, B, and C, or when we go, or the report is of firm evidence of this person committing offences. So it's never as easy as this person's doing this. Why can't the police go and sort him out? Because we need evidence of them doing that. So what I'd say about email is that, yeah, it depends what people. It's quite broad. It depends what people are asking us. We can answer. I'd hope that we'd answer all emails, even if we can't do anything. But it does depend a lot on what the questions are that people want to know the answer to. And the third one about a permanent address. What do you mean by permanent address? Do you mean that in terms of residency? Oh, in terms of permanent resident. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, so I don't want to sort of give any incorrect or false answers. But you need to be a permanent resident to be. I would firmly guess you have to be a permanent resident to join the police. PCSO. Yeah, you'd have to be a permanent resident of the country. That's all the class answer on that one. But yeah, I'll be like 99% sure that's correct. But yeah, as well. Yeah, Sunday, and I've got my team backing me up there. Yeah. So hopefully that answered your questions sufficiently. Excellent. Oh.
Good afternoon. My name is John. I want to ask, based on the ASB questions that I asked the other time about young people, that's young person smoking or vaping in the bus station or on the bus. And sometimes I was on the bus one day and a young person was smoking cannabis on the bus. And I was like, what? Well, people shy away from what they do or what they can do concerning those issues. So as a member of the community, when you see such thing, what can you do? Or what do you do to that situation? Thank you.
Thanks for that, John. What I would say in those kind of situations, it's important to, for one, let the bus driver know. And also, there's no issue in terms of making the police aware as well. But I think we also have to be realistic around that kind of thing. So, unfortunately, that a lot of people smoke weed, a lot of people. And by the time we get there, if someone's smoking weed, by the time we get there, it's gone a lot of the time. So I'd always encourage reporting things to the police, but we also have to be realistic that if someone's smoking some weed somewhere in the street and you call the police, by the time we get there, they're going to be gone. And a lot of time, by the time we get there, if they had something on them, it's going to be smoked. From a member of the public point of view, I would say that not to get in that kind of thing. There's no need to speak to anybody or get involved to the person directly. I would never encourage sort of confronting people about that kind of thing. I think it's there are times where people have to step in or feel they have to step in and they feel a need to see a crime taking place and they want to take action. But I would say that in those kind of environments, it'd be best to make contact with the bus company, the bus driver, or the police, making us aware rather than anything else. I think that's safer. I think that's the sort of the clever thing to do. I understand as well that it can be frustrating, and we get a lot of calls about weed smoking, people smoking cannabis, etc. We get a lot of calls about that, and we get a lot of people asking why can't the police do anything about this. And I get the frustration. And we, as a rule, we do find a lot of cannabis. We do a lot of stop searches, and we find cannabis on a lot of people. But like I say, a lot of people are also smoking cannabis. So the percentage that we find is small compared to the percentage of people who are smoking it. So all we can do is get the information, get the intelligence, act upon it when we get it, and do our best to try and eradicate it. But like I say, there's no easy answers to that. Is that okay? Is that okay, John? Yeah, answer. Yeah. Cheers, pal. Thank you, mate.
Good morning, afternoon.
Just. Yeah.
I want to ask a question about the police university. So and the various departments in the police whatever. So I don't want to be pursuing thieves. I don't want to be like in the crime department. So can you tell me other departments that are in the police force that you think should be open to other people as well? Thank you.
So you're saying you don't want to be a police officer?
No, I don't want to be pursuing thieves. I don't want to be. Yeah, I don't want to be in the car pursuing the thieves.
Well, so okay. Trying to answer this one then. No, there are loads of different roles within the police. I think the key is, if you want to be a police officer, then we're the forward-facing face of the police. But behind us, there are so many different departments within the police. Child protection. There's God, I've gone blank. But there's loads. The CID. There's loads of different departments within the police that are not front line, not in the cars doing chases, blue lights on. But if you do join the police, that's where everyone starts. So, which is, I always think, an advantage of the police, that everybody started from the same place. You have the military and different things like that where people start high up, but in the police, everyone's done the same job at some point. So everyone started in uniform, on a beat, walking about, going to 999 calls. So that's where everyone starts. Once you're in the police, and once you've done your first 2.5 years, then there are endless possibilities that open up. So it depends. If you want to be a police officer, then it's a long career. It's 30, 35 years. So you can do 2 or 3 years of this, and then you can do 32 years of something else. But also we have the Psycho, the forensic department as well, who do go out and do the forensics. They're not police officers. We do have civilian staff who are not police officers at all that do stuff behind the scenes as well. But I do think that if you're interested in anything that's related to sort of crime and policing, then joining the police, getting through the first stage, because you may enjoy it more than you think. Because a lot of people, they think, oh, I want to join the police, but I don't want to be on the front line. And then they do the front line stuff, and it's really fun, and they do it a bit longer. So, but if it is something that interests you, then the GMP website has loads of jobs on there within the police. There's call handling as well, which you can do. There's all sorts of different sort of roles within the police. So it could be a good start to go onto the GMP website, look at the jobs on there, read the job descriptions, and see if anything piques your fancy. But what I'd always say is that for me, within the police, the best job is a police officer because you can do anything after that. So it's all, yeah. The world you're always, and also PCSOs as well. They're the second best job, PCSOs. Sorry, I forgot that. Yeah, but that bit, yeah, yeah. So that's what I'd say.
Sorry, I'm asking another question again. Like she's saying she doesn't want to chase after this. No, mine now is, what if you actually have the passion for it to protect lives, but you're this kind of person, you're kind of scared. Like if you're the scared type, like it seems everybody had to start from the forefront. Now, if you actually want to protect life, but you're even scared of catching a thief, so what do you do? Like, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, what support is available for that kind of person? Like, you're the shy type, and you're not the type that can actually grab a thief, but but you want to protect lives. What do you do? And sorry, another question is relating to that. Now, if I have a passion in policing, if I want to start a career there, is there like a job advert out there for someone to apply? And is there any criteria for that?
Yeah. So, where should I start? Okay. I think policing, weirdly, is not as scary as you think it is. I know people. You see on, once again, it's a TV in the news where people are ducking behind desks and there's shotguns and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Like, oh, you're running after prisoners and you. I mean, a lot of time you sat behind a desk writing. I mean, a lot of time you sat behind a desk writing things up. So you might go to one incident and then you sat behind a desk typing for the rest of the shift. So it's not quite as scary as people think. Obviously, there can be moments that can be a bit where you're slightly worried. But I've got 16 years in the police, and it's those moments I can count on one hand where I felt sort of in fear or scared. And also, we have training as well. So when you join the police, they have training to talk you through the scenarios you're going to face. You work with other people, and if you've got a real desire to help people, if you've got a real desire to make your community better, then there's very few places better than the police to do that. But you may not know it, but when I first joined the police, I was quite worried about that aspect as well. Like I say, you wouldn't think now, but I was quite shy and retiring when I first joined the police. I mean, doing something like this would be like, oh my God, can't go and speak in front of people. But the job itself gives you confidence. And also wearing the uniform. You put the uniform on and suddenly you feel a bit bigger. You feel a bit taller. I mean, you feel like, oh yeah, well that's all right. It fits. It's good. So that changes you as well. So just by putting the uniform on, you just feel you feel more sort of confident in yourself. And then also because people then start looking to you. So if you're walking down the street in a uniform, people then start looking at you to talk to and speak about and ask you questions. So suddenly you're like, oh God, people have got confidence in me, and that can build your confidence. So I would say that there are other ways as well. Like there's PCSO as well, which is a way to come into the police where it's not so you don't deal with confrontation. Not meant to deal with confrontation. It's more of a community role. So you don't carry a baton, you don't carry the handcuffs. It's more of a community role, speaking to people. So that's obviously Stephen Sunday, PCSOs. I mean, you can find yourself in those situations as well, but generally it's non-confrontational role. So that's always a way to come into the police, PCSO. There's also, if you want to see if you could like it, there's special constables as well. So volunteer police, where you maybe 4 hours a week, 6 hours a week, you come into the police station, you go out with an experienced officer, and you experience what it's like to be a police officer, to wear the uniform. You do all the training, but you volunteer, so you have your normal job, and you come to the police for 6 hours a week, 8 hours a week, after work for a couple of hours here and there. And that's really a good indication to see if you'd like it. So you're not committed, but you do get all the training, you get all the skills that are required. You carry your bat and you carry your cuffs, and you can just see if it's for you. And if it's not, then you stop, and that's fine. But if you do it, and you think, yeah, well, I quite enjoy this, then you can, you've got the experience then to apply for the regular police, and that will help you with interviews, etc., etc. In terms of joining the police, what I would say is the GMP website is probably the best place to look. They have the vacancies on there. They have all the information about joining the police. They have all the information about what skills, what requirements are needed for the police. I'm not an expert on that, so I don't know the exact requirements needed. But that'll be all on the GMP website. If you go on there, look at vacancies, look at Great Manchester Police. Yeah, Great Manchester Police website. So look on there, and that'll give you all the information you need, and then you can make a decision. But what I would say is, don't be scared. It's good.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. We hope we are not boring you with too many questions. Okay. Well, I have about 3 questions too. Well, some of them had been partly answered. Maybe just a little clarification. Well, I have an experience. I don't really live in this community. Of course, I worship here, but I just have an experience. I just want to ask for possible guidance. There had been cases of missing items within my apartment. An instance that a delivery company dropped an item for me, but well, that's their problem where they dropped it. Unfortunately, it got missing and all of that. And that was it. Then another instance, just within the day, we're having a chat, dropped something beside, and to turn back again, it's missing. So we've had instances that we had missing items almost reportedly like that. And many times when it happens, I'm just like, so what do I do? Don't want to bother to, I just leave it off. But I'm like, when you were talking, I'm like, perhaps it's something that should have been reported to the police. Maybe it's cool to help.
What I'll say about that, I would say that the delivery company have got responsibilities.
Sure.
Sure. So where they leave items.
Yeah.
And if they, as well, you also got to be aware that sometimes they don't deliver the items. So the items go missing from the person who's delivering the item. So it's not quite clear how it's gone missing.
Okay, maybe I should, sorry for cutting in, maybe I should shed a little light about that. Okay. My apartment had an entrance code, to get into the apartment. So instead of them dropping the item specifically at my door, they just drop it somewhere at the lobby. And some of my neighbors confirmed that they were big, massive boxes. Got some things from abroad and massive boxes right in there. But by the time I was back in the evening, there was nowhere to be found. Of course, we took it up with the delivery company and compensation and all of that. But security-wise, it alarms me that something like that, something massive like that could get missing and there was no trace.
Yeah. What I think ultimately sometimes with that kind of stuff, it would be down to having doorbell cameras, people having doorbell cameras, yeah. or the management company having the CCTV camera there. So if you have that kind of thing, then it'll pick up whoever's taking it, or if it's not being delivered, or what's going on. But I would say CCTV is probably the best solution for that kind of problem.
Anyway, that was in the past. Actually.
Okay, no problem.
The second thing is when you notice suspicious movements, what's the best way to handle that? Is it to ring the police 101? Of course, not 999 since it's not an emergency.
So when you say suspicious movements, what do you mean? Somebody hanging around who shouldn't be there?
Yeah, that's regularly naturally in the neighborhood, you almost familiar with faces that you see regularly, that you know that these are people within my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But you keep seeing a strange face, maybe loitering around, and at times some of those things is just your instinct telling you that this person might be up to something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, from my point of view, there's no issue calling 101 and letting us know that there's a sus person in the area, and we may come out and obviously for that kind of report, we may come out, we may not come out. It just depends what they're doing. So if someone's just stood there and they're not from the area and they're not doing anything wrong, they just, well, why are they there? Then we might not come out to that. If they are looking into car windows, if they're looking through letterboxes, if they're acting in a manner that causes alarm, then that's the kind of thing that we come out to. But either or, there's never any issue with letting us know, because you can find that you can report something that seems completely innocuous, that's not really, it's something of nothing, but that could link to another event that's happened somewhere else. So that's why, okay, well, this person's done something over here, and then they've been seen over here half an hour later. So if somebody does pique your interest and someone just makes you feel a little bit like, what's he doing there, then there's no issue. Call 101, let us know, and we'll look into it. There's no problem.
Okay, thank you. The last one, I've got kids, and they love to play. You know, children, for who they are, you can't always keep them within the house with devices. They want to play with friends. How do you? There are times I'm just scared that how safe are these children going out to play? What do you do if there are instances of bullying?
Well, I mean, and is this through school or is this through local kids in the area, or?
Usually, maybe with local kids within the area.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Generally, I'd say that speaking to the parents directly is probably the best way. I think in terms of, like, there are levels to that as well. If bullying becomes physical, if there's physical bullying, if there's assaults, if there's threats, that kind of thing, then that falls into the police's purview. If it's just teasing or so
verbal assault.
Verbal assault. It depends what's said. But we know sometimes, unfortunately, kids can be quite cruel sometimes. Yeah. And I would always start with the parents and speaking to the parents and just trying to resolve it that way. But like I say, if things get physical, if people are making threats or anything along those lines, then we can. That becomes then more of our issue, and we can come and try and step in and try and help out and see what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
I have another 2 sets of questions.
Oh, there we go.
So
let's do one at a time this time. Let's go. Do it differently this time, one at a time.
All right. So both questions are about how to keep ourselves safe. The first one is related to scams. So based on your knowledge or some of the issues you've solved, what do you think are some of the latest scams happening right now that you think we should be aware of, and how we can keep ourselves safe against those kind of scams?
I think from a policing point of view, what I would say is a lot of the scams, what we see, people coming to people's doors, bogus officials, bogus workers. So someone saying, "Oh, your roof needs doing, or your garden needs doing. I'll sort it out for you," and then charging somebody a ridiculous amount of money for it. And a lot of time, like I said before, a lot of time it's older people that can be more susceptible, because people who are doing these kind of scams, they're experts in it. They know how to manipulate people. They know how to influence people. So from a policing point of view, that's one of the main ones where we have people who are saying they're one thing and there's something else. Or I'm the gas fitter. Can I come check your gas meter? And they go and steal jewelry and that kind of thing. So from our point of view, it's always important to make sure you check people's ID. And if you're even 0.1% unsure about somebody who wants to come into your house or wants to do something, then don't let them in. If it's someone saying, "I'm from British Gas," that person will not. If they're from British Gas, they won't mind you calling British Gas to make sure that they're the right person. If they're not, and they start getting a bit sort of weird with you, then you know that maybe they're not who they say they are. But any person, same for the police. I've been to people's doors before. I pulled up in a police car, blue lights flashing, police uniform, jacket, and I'm knocking the door, and they're like, "We don't believe you, police." I'm like, "Well," but people don't. But that's fair enough, because if I'm there legitimately, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You can call 101. This is my caller number. This is who I am, and yeah, call them. I've come to this address. It's fine. So if you're there legitimately, if you're there for legal reasons, if you're there properly, doing your job properly, then you've got nothing to fear. So, like I say, I'd always say, just be aware. Any doubts, don't let people in. Check them, get their ID. So that's what I'd say.
Thank you. The second question is about protests. So these days, I've always noticed there's call for protests here and there. So how also can we keep ourselves safe in the midst of protests?
In terms of, so what I say is, as long as you're protesting legally, if you're following the law, if you're listening to the people who, because a lot of time when there are protests, the organisers of the protests liaise with the police. Routes are or pre-arranged. The amount of people on the protest, we're aware of it, where we want people to go. So what I would say with protests is, as long as you're following the law, as long as you're listening to the police, as long as you're listening to any organisers, then you're going to be fine. The only time, like from a policing point of view, we're there to facilitate peaceful protests. It's legal. It's people's right to protest peacefully, and we're there to facilitate that. Any time when we get really involved is when things become violent, there's damage, there's a threat to life, there's a threat to the public, then the police may step in with more robust policing. But generally, we're there to make sure people can protest peacefully. That's sort of one of the key aspects of a free society. So yeah, we're there to help that.
Okay. Can we appreciate? Okay. I also want to ask if our friends here, we've not heard anything spoken from them. It looks like it's just some of us in house that have been engaging the sergeant. Do you have any questions for him?
No, not questions. I just think it's a great event, and it's a great opportunity to thank you. It's nice to see your team, nice intimate team here. And one thing I've noticed, definitely over the last sort of 10 years in Oldham, the makeup of the police is really good to see.
Yeah.
Lots more females, staff, people from different diverse backgrounds, and it's very important because obviously Oldham's demographics have changed so much.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen different communities spring up, and it's great. And not only that, it's reassuring at events like this, and very grateful for the pastor to facilitate this here in the local community. It gives an insight to other communities about which other communities exist alongside here as well. So, like you said, it doesn't matter the turnout. The most important thing is that you come and we can build on this.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything?
So I'm the local councillor for this ward. We might have met before, but I have met colleagues in the police before. It's a great event, this. Thank you for organising it. I think what we've seen in this area over the last maybe few years is the increase in antisocial behaviour. We're also getting lots of more reports where there's lots of drug abuse going on. I think in the past we tried to increase presence or police presence, and that seems to stop the problem, but it also then we hear that they've moved on to different streets. So I don't know how we could tackle trying to reduce that and address the antisocial behaviour issue.
Yeah, I think one of the big issues actually with antisocial behaviour is displacement, where people move from one place to another. So when we find one area, we flood it with police, we get the names of the people, and we move them on. They go to another area. So what we try and find, what we try and do, is get them get the kids into something else. Because a lot of the time it's a lot of bored children, bored kids who haven't got anything to do, and they hang around the street corners and they cause issues for people. And we find a lot of them aren't bad kids. They're not bad kids. They go to school. They've got friends. They're good at school. Go speak to the parents, and parents are shocked that they're doing this on a Friday night or Saturday night. So from my point of view, how we try and deal with it, one, we use enforcement where we can. We work with the local council. We work with the local community safety team by speaking to the parents, making the parents aware, and that can reduce a group by half or 3/4 because some of the parents aren't aware. So once you deal with the parents, the good parents who are bothered, go speak to them, and then that will reduce a group. And then you use enforcement against other aspects of the group, if arrests, antisocial behaviour orders, acceptable behaviour contracts, all this kind of stuff that we can use to try and improve people's behaviour. There's always going to be a hardcore section that won't listen to you. There's going to be a hardcore section where the parents aren't bothered, aren't going to engage. And all we can do is, and what happens is, those people get arrested and arrested and arrested. And that's a pattern that we try and sort of break using our youth offending team. We have a youth offending team that works with these more sort of, hardcore offenders who we can't get through with the sort of normal aspects, and try and see how we can prevent their offending. But also us being there as well. So we only have a small team, and the police are busy at the moment. There's no denying that. But we try and make sure that if there are areas that are reported to us, so if people are telling us this area is experiencing a lot of ASB, then we try and be there when we can. A bit of a presence, a bit of visible presence, deterrence, and that's how we try and do it. There's no perfect way, and we're never going to stop ASB. It's never going to be a thing that we can prevent. But all we can do is try and reduce it, and try and improve the quality of life of the local people in the area. So that's what we're trying to do at the moment. Oh, well, yeah.
Thanks for that. I think there's a worrying sign. We're getting reports of a lot of youths effectively carrying knives and sort of knife crime. Is there any campaign to see how we can? Again, it's down to distractions and hanging out in groups that's causing the problem. But is there any campaigns that the police are doing to sort of curb that sort of behaviour?
Yeah, well, twice a year we have Opceptor, which is a week of action around knife crime. So it was about 4 weeks ago we did it. So there are a few aspects. Ultimately, prevention is better than cure. So what we try and do is go into schools. We've got presentations that we go into schools, primary schools, secondary schools, talking about knife crime, talking about the danger of carrying a knife, talking about what can happen if you're caught carrying a knife, and trying to make young people aware that whilst they may think it's cool, or they may think it's for protection, or for whatever reason, there are serious consequences to carrying a knife. Not just policing, but if they've got a knife and they get into a fight, it just takes one blow and they've killed somebody. So we have this week of action where we have knife arches at the tram stops, stopping people, stop searching people. We have knife sweeps because there are areas where people store knives in parks and have them in bushes. So don't take it. So they might have these long machetes they can't take home to their parents, so they store them in bushes, etc. So we go around those areas looking for these knives to try and get them off the street. We have a knife box at the station as well, for people to drop knives in, which people do. If people find knives, get them off the streets, put them into these knife boxes. But yeah, so there's no single way that we try and prevent this. We have this, obviously, the ways of stop searching people, getting knives off the street that way, locking people up. So there's various aspects, but it's more of a national campaign, really. We know knife crime is a serious problem at the moment, and we've just got to try and do all we can using all the sort of levers and mechanisms that we have to try and prevent it. And we're never going to rent it completely, but it's all about making people aware, young people, and that's how we do. We start on people young to make them aware that it's not cool, it's not fun, and it's dangerous to carry a knife. And that message is getting across, but it will never get across with everybody. We will never get everybody on board with that. But the more people we speak to, the more people we interact with, the more knives we take off the street, the safer the streets are going to be for everybody else. So, yeah.
Thank you. So we take Pastor said.
Thank you, everyone. My question is it's about maintaining our good relationship with our neighbor. I quite understand on our streets here, there are some streets where you have yellow line that prevents you to just park anyhow. But for example, this is our exit here, exit door. Whether with or without yellow line, we know no one's supposed to park there during the business, when the business is going on here. Sunday is our regular service where we have a lot of people coming in here, entrance here. And we got people who just park blocking the exit, even at the door, coming in here with big van. And when they approach, there are some times we approach them, I can park anywhere I like. You can't ask me not to park here. And with the kind of the business we have at hand here, we are not, supposed to go out there to rattling with people. At some point, I was like, maybe we need to get in touch with the council or get in touch with the police. What can we do in order to avoid, hostility among people that are parked here with no knowledge or understanding of, what we do on Sundays here? I don't know. I just want to ask, what can we do in order to prevent that kind of, hostility, to maintain good relationship with neighbors?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because you can only prevent hostility with people who don't want to be hostile. So if these people are going to be hostile because they don't want people parking there, it's very hard for them to understand, other than talking to them and trying to gain a relationship with them and let them explain, look, it's a church. On this day, on this time, there's going to be a lot of people parking here. Maybe even putting, they're going to be aware now that it's a church. It's going to be aware on a Sunday it's going to be busy. And it's something that, as long as people are parking legally, not causing obstructions in the road, then it's something that local people have to sort of understand and really sort of take on board. I'm assuming it's not everybody. I'm assuming it's like a certain people who get annoyed. It's not going to be the whole community. But it's difficult, really, because if people are parked legally, people have sometimes have entitlement. Oh, I'm allowed to park. You're not allowed to park there, even though you are. But people have that kind of mental entitlement, like, well, no, you're not, and it's hard to sort of stop them having that. But all I can say is that talking to people and explaining and being welcoming and not being hostile to them and being sort of friendly and warm is the best diffuser, I suppose. That can diffuse them. But also maybe on Sunday, on your next one, we can have our PCSOs come down just to be in the area, and that can help as well. So we can explain to people as well. Okay, actually, they are allowed to park here. This is why they're here, and that can diffuse it as well. So next week now, when we're next working on the Sunday, we'll get Steve and Sunday to come down and just have a bit of a presence.
Yeah, maybe on our major services too. There are some of our services that it's a very big one. That you have people even coming from outside Manchester to worship, and it's usually very busy here.
Yeah.
Maybe on one of those major services, we can always request that we have
Yeah, just let us know. Yeah, let us know, and we'll if we're working that day, because we only work one Sunday in 3, so we don't work every Sunday.
Okay.
But if we're working that day, then I'll make sure that we have a presence down here.
Okay, that's great. Can we please appreciate? You can do better than that. I think I have a better view about issues about the police now. Thank you so very much for that session. And I just want to say before we begin to wrap up this event, if anyone within the team have any other thing to say or a parting word or a remark before we close up, because it's been him alone speaking all the while.
I've got the stripe, so I get paid more, so
that's what the leader does. Let's appreciate him one more time. That was great. Thank you so very, very much for coming. It's been a really, really enlightening moment for us. And definitely we are going to have another police surgery. We'll look at organizing that on a Sunday when we have our full house that we have. Usually we are more than these. I mean, the whole place is always packed up on Sunday. So that will give you a larger audience to talk to and be prepared for loads and loads of questions. Because we always ask you so many things. So we work towards that. We'll keep, of course, thank you for this relationship too. We value it so much, and we are going to keep it. We're going to keep contact and pick it up from there.
Perfect, yeah.
Thank you so very much. You're welcome. We have refreshments somewhere in the room there, and one of the last things we do is we like to have a group photograph with you.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
We'll put it on our website, we'll put it on. And I also want to thank specially the counselor, Mr. Junaid. Thank you so much for coming. Can we appreciate him? I met him some few days back. He's been here. The other one, okay, sorry. But great, thank you for coming. We also have some sessions with you, and we'll have good working relationship with you. We are friends, we are partners. Now I can say confidently that the police is our friend. They are always our friend. Thank you everyone for attending this event. Thank you for coming. Thank you to every member of the team. And we look forward to a great relationship with you. So we'll like to arrange, how do we take the photograph? We're standing here, right? Pastor, can you come, sir? Counselor, please come. My brother, please come too. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Great. Thank you. Officer Sunday's dog. Maybe you stay at the back. Maybe. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Every other person. Okay. Yeah, everyone, you could stand at the back. Please, we have an idea of your face in the picture. Let me carry you. Yes, sir. Yeah, good boy. Cheese. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. We have sandwiches. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dot.
AG